Now, how did we get the Palestinian refugees out of this war? That's the crux of the question. And, there are different narratives that today is still greatly and hotly debated. But I and many others can provide great evidence to support the narrative that I'm going to give you now. There were several reasons for the Palestinian refugees. Now, as you might know, refugees are a fairly common byproduct of war. If you trace the history of the world, you will find that refugees have been a byproduct of war for practically every war you can imagine. But what did happen was this. The Palestinians that could afford to, knowing that this war was going to happen, everybody knew. No one was shocked when those 5 Arab nations declared war. They had made it quite clear. Everyone knew what was going to happen. So the Palestinians that could afford it simply packed up their bags and left. That's one. Very small. But then the Arab nations and the Palestinian leadership said to the Arabs living in the field of war, where the battle was going to be hottest, that we want you to leave the arena of the battle so that we can attack the Jews and not have collateral damage on the Arabs. So we want you to remove yourselves from the hottest areas of war, of battle. And so they would go over towards the Jordan River, where they were safer over there, and they would wait on the promise that after this war is over, you can come back, and then you will have your land back, and you can get the land of your Jewish neighbor too. And so that was the promise. So many of them were told to leave by Arab leadership. And I could provide quotes of history of those directives to the Arabs living in this area. That's number 2. Then, and this is the narrative that the Arab nations want to focus on, that the Jews expelled some Arabs. Did the Jews expel some of the Arabs? Yes, they did. This is what would happen. The Jews, now the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, would come upon an Arab village. They would then say to the Arab village, we offer you peace. We offer you peace. We offer you terms of peace. We do not want to fight. Please accept our terms of peace. And if you will accept these terms of peace, you will instantly be citizens of Israel. Arab citizens of Israel, if you will accept our terms of peace. If you will not accept our terms of peace, if you will fight, we will fight you. And if they said, we accept your terms of peace, they laid down their arms, they became Arab citizens of Israel. If they said, no, we reject flat out, and they would attack. And so Israel was very highly organized. They would defeat the Arab village and expel the fighters and expel them into the newly being formed refugee camps. And so they would go village by village. We offer you terms of peace. You accept? No, we do not. They would attack and expel. So were there some expelling things happening? Yes, there were. Now, another thing happened, and that is, let's say they came upon a city. Haifa is an example. And they defeated the city, very large city. And the Arabs en masse started to leave. The Jews then said to them, no, like this is far too many. No, don't leave. We offer you opportunity to be citizens. Don't leave. But many of the Arabs believed. They did not believe them. They were convinced that the Jews would annihilate them, because after all, that's what the Arabs intended to do to the Jews. And so they thought, we cannot stay, we will be annihilated. And so many of them fled, even though Israel asked them not to. All of this brought about the refugees. And predominantly, many of them were, let's say, on the western bank of the Jordan River. Many of them went into the area of modern-day Gaza, which would be if you see the land of Israel, here's the Mediterranean Sea, Sea of Galilee, Dead Sea. It's down here on the coast, on the south coast, on the southwest. That's Gaza Strip today. Many of them went there. Many went to the west bank of the Jordan River. Some of them went to Lebanon. Some went to Jordan proper. There were about 700,000 refugees, Arab refugees that came out of that war. Now, I think it's worth stating for the balance of the story that there were Jews that were being expelled from Arab nations in mass. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Jews were being expelled from Arab nations, stripped of their lands, stripped of their properties, stripped of their monies, and they were sent off, expelled. So Israel then received them in mass, and they set up refugee camps for these newly brought in refugees from these Arab nations. But they didn't remain refugees. They were trained, brought in, given jobs, given homes, given opportunities, and they grew up. They were given schools. They were taught Hebrew, and they became incorporated into the greater Israel population. However, the Palestinian Arab refugees remain, and still to this day were never incorporated. Still to this day, to which we ask, well, why won't you just incorporate them? Why don't you just absorb them in? No, there are political reasons why not to do that.